Hello guys, back with another video here. I'm in one of my favorite spots, Barra da Tijuca. It is extremely hot today. I think it's about 35 Celsius, 90 something Fahrenheit. I'm probably gonna go find a shade spot. It's just way too hot to walk in the sun and talk. So I'm gonna go to a spot and I'll continue the video there. But it's booming today, middle of summer here. So I'll be right back. All right, so I'm going down the side streets in Baja here. A little bit better and less noisy than the main street over there. So it's going to be a part 2 of my first video. So much for the quiet. Just gonna jaywalk here. Yeah, I'm gonna just put a disclaimer here. Not that I really need to, because I know a lot of you guys on my channel follow me specifically for Brazil. Now I've been here for more than 4 years, and maybe I'll go to there's a park up ahead, but I've been here for over 4 years now. And I don't know if many of you know, but I've lived here 10 years ago as well. This is the second time I've been living here. Over the course of 10 plus years, coming and going many times, I've noticed a change. Now, the disclaimer also is that I'm not here to put down Brazilians. I'm not here to make someone feel bad. And I know that each country is different. I'm not comparing my home country to US. I mean, I'm just simply saying my experience of being here, because I have real world experience here. And of course, there's going to be some comparisons to other countries. Cultures are different, but these things I'm going to talk about should not be cultural, in my opinion. They should just be part of being a human being. So where was I going with this? Just trying to not get lost here. Oh, much nicer and much quieter. So, I don't know if I'll overlap on a lot of the things that I said in the last video, and I don't know how long this video is going to be. Brazil is a very diverse, beautiful, full of resources. It has everything it needs, okay? It doesn't really need to do really any exporting or trading with other countries. It pretty much could stand alone on its own. I mean, if you've been to Brazil, you know they have pretty much everything. It's a massive country, 5th biggest country in the world. But it's got a lot of problems, and all of Brazil has problems, but Rio specifically has a lot of problems. The people have a lot of problems. And I'm gonna say one thing that is probably really shocking. I don't come here for the people anymore. I mean, I don't live here for the people. I know that's kind of shocking, because a lot of people always, when they do these travel vlogs and shit like that, oh, the people are the best part. I don't know. I mean, there are some good people here. There are some nice people here in Rio specific. I mean, Brazil, but Rio specifically. But that is diminishing faster than you can say it. I don't know. Sure, there's hardships here, but there's something ingrained in the culture that and I'm going to get to points, some good points about that, and talk about exactly what I'm talking about. The one big thing I would say is that there is no consideration. There's a lack of consideration for other people. That's why I hate when I hear that phrase, "tamo junto," because in my opinion, it doesn't mean anything anymore. It's supposed to mean we're together, like, you know, we're in this together kind of thing. I don't find that anymore. Maybe it was never like this, and I just was under illusion by the beauty of this country. The women are very beautiful here. Not every single one, obviously. Not like every country has their, you know, baddies and bad looking ones. But and I'm gonna come to about the relationship thing here as well. The lack of consideration, the self-entitlement is very high here, specifically in Rio. I'm not talking about the whole country, but I'm sure it's everywhere. This has to do with a lack of education, a lot of broken homes. And again, I know I'm going to get people say, America has that too, Canada has that. I know, I'm not talking about those countries in this video. And if you want to come here and get offended and waste your time, it's up to you. But it's on another level here. I'll give you examples of like the non-consideration, no consideration for people. Whenever you're on, if you ever take a bus here or the metro, the subway, or if you've flown here many times, and I'm sure you guys know what I'm talking about. What other things? The boat, like the ferry, because I take the ferry quite often. The lack of consideration is mind-blowing. I think it's sort of like a me mentality here now. For example, people will get into the metro, the subway, and everyone will run to try and get a seat if it's an empty car, pushing people out of the way. I know other countries are like that, but let's focus on Brazil or Rio. So before I continue on with what I was saying, I wanted to get this out of the way as well. This is not a video for me telling you not to come here, not to spend some time here, because there's a lot of good things about Rio. Unfortunately, there's more bad, in my opinion, than good these days. But this is not a, you know, one of those things where I'm saying, don't come here, it's too dangerous. Sure, it has its dangers. Every place does. But here it's just next level shit. So if you're planning on coming here for the first time, this is not to tell you not to come here, okay? So don't take it that way. A lot of people, I had comments in the last video telling me that, oh, I had plans to come and I'm gonna cancel. No. This is not, I'm just telling you like the truth about this place, okay? And a lot of people don't like to hear the truth because, you know, it goes against what they believed about a place, or, you know, a preconception about a place. And thinking that this place is amazing. It's not amazing. It's cool, okay, to come and spend time here, but I've realized living here it's complicated. And I mean, where I'm living now outside the city, it's not bad, but every time I come in the city I get stressed out, and it's too much. If you spend a lot of time here, it can really get to you. It can burn you out. So I'm coming up to this park here in Baja. Like, I don't know if you can see it from here. Hopefully find a nice shady spot and sit down and continue with the video. So let's cross over and find a shady spot. So here's the park. Let's continue somewhere in the shade. All right. So back to the no consideration. Unfortunately, there's a lot of things here that are gonna annoy you. I think I mentioned in the last video, people don't get out of the way on the sidewalk. It's like, I'm here, so I'm not getting out of the way. Shady guy here. What else? A lot of things, actually. And you're not gonna believe it until you experience it. Or if you've been here, you've probably experienced some of it. It's not like I'm here making this shit up. Okay. So back to the boat, you know, public transit type of behavior. I'll start with the plane. Every time I would fly to and from Brazil, before we've even landed or just as we landed, you know how they always say you're not supposed to get up and all that shit? Here, everyone gets up. It's like everyone's rushing to the exits to get their bag because they gotta be first. I don't know, this mentality to me is self-entitlement. I'm gonna sit over here. Self-entitlement is through the roof here. I don't know if that's upbringing, I don't know if that's sad cultural norms. Oh, that's much better. Hope you guys can see me. It's kind of dark. Yeah, okay. So everyone has to be first off the plane. Same with the bus, same with the ferry. Everyone starts getting up. There's no order to, like, you know, whoever's at the front of it goes first, you know, orderly manner, orderly fashion, just like in the US or Canada or wherever other, you know, quote unquote first world country. And I know people are gonna be like, well, it's just so fucking irritating. It's so irritating to me. I wrote a bunch of stuff that I'm going to talk about, but it's not very difficult to remember all the nonsense that goes on here, really. Let me just check here. Okay, and the other thing is, you'll notice people will use their cell phones with no headphones. So whatever they're watching, or if they're talking to somebody or whatever, everyone has to hear the same, whatever they're doing, loud. Like if they're flipping through TikTok or Instagram or whatever, or watching a video or whatever, no one wants to use fucking headphones here. I'm almost like tempted to buy the cheap ass headphones and just distribute them out to whoever is doing this obnoxious behavior, because I mean, it's actually illegal on buses and, you know, things like that, public spaces. You're not supposed to listen to loud music or, you know, have whatever, any sound, loud sound going on, but people still do it. They don't give a shit. For me, if you can afford the phone, you can afford the headphones. It's really quite simple. And I know I'm gonna sound like a bitchy, whiny guy. I don't really care. I'm just telling you guys what you should be ready to deal with if you should choose to move here. And you're probably going to experience many, if not all of these things, just even visiting. But you need a certain amount of time to sort of experience it all. I really can't stand the motorcycle thing here. Everywhere you go, motorcycles. And the problem with that is you can easily get run over. But the worst of it all is when, and this is actually another illegal thing, is the exhaust. People take off the muffler, so all you're hearing is the fucking annoying ass engine of the motorcycle. I don't know, that just bothers the shit out of me. It really does. So again, no manners here, for the most part. I don't know if that's just because just a lot of people from the favelas, but that's not even just, it's not even just them. It's public in general. It's the general public. People will not say excuse me if they want to pass through. It'll happen, but I mean, no. And even less so if they find out you're a gringo or a foreigner. You're going to be treated differently here. Not by everybody, but by a lot of people. It's just, yeah, a lot of shit happens here, man. It's really crazy. It's really crazy. Another thing I will say, if you get neighbors, they're going to be loud, most of them. Loud music all the time. I had to move from my last house actually last year, or earlier, yeah, last year, 2024, because parties every weekend, loud ass music, annoying funk with a lot of swearing and sexual connotations, which is, by the way, illegal to be playing loudly. If you're listening at home, that's one thing. There's a pattern that you're noticing here. There's laws and rules here, hardly anyone follows them, which I get it as a way, you know, a little bit more freedom, but you're basically taking away the freedoms of others to enjoy their day or enjoy their life. You know, it's just, there's so many problematic people here, and I'm still unsure of where the origins are. A lot of people said, oh, it's because of the slavery and they weren't educated. It's not just those people. It's not just poor people or people who are, you know, low income to homeless or whatever. It's not just that. Like I said, sense of entitlement, no consideration for others. People here also have they're very temperamental, very bad temper. Any little thing will set off somebody. So you want to be careful what you say around people. I'm sure I have Brazilians on my channel, and they're probably going to get upset. Maybe some of them will admit it, but some of them will get upset because I'm saying what's going on here. And it's not all Brazilians. I acknowledge that. It's not all Brazilians, but I would say it's the majority, unfortunately. And this is probably that goes for the same in most states in Brazil. Another thing is, I think I mentioned this the other day, a lot of homeless, a lot of beggars everywhere you go. It doesn't matter if you're in the quote-unquote good neighborhoods. It don't matter. It don't matter. Violence is a daily occurrence in this city, so you always want to be careful which neighborhood you're going to. There could be like a shootout. There could be an police operation. I think by the Bopi, which is the one which deals with all the, you know, the drug traffickers and things like that. So I mean, just not that long ago in Rocinha, they had an operation there, and that's one of the supposedly pacified favelas. So be careful if you're going to be doing a favela tour. It is an interesting thing to go and check it out, but just make sure that it's safe on that particular day, and get a tour guide. Now the other thing is really annoying is that, not so much in like Copa, but you'll hear in the favelas or in like my town in particular, fireworks all the fucking time. Fireworks all the time. I mean, just New Year's passed not that long ago. Fireworks, okay, that's normal, no problem. Hola. It's normal. But you'd think that they got it out of their system. No, the next few days, fireworks again. There's some sketchy guy walking by again. I'm gonna have to keep an eye on that. People here are particularly loud talkers, rowdy. They're always wanting to party and things like that, which I'll get to more when it comes to the problem politically here in this country. But it's always about the party, it's always about the barbecue, it's always about, like, I'm not against having a good time. I know this is gonna make me sound like a fucking square, but there's a time and place, you know, which is, it's amazing to me because these people, a lot of people will save up money. When it comes to a nice, like in the summer, they'll blow it all on like booze and drink. Okay, do whatever you want with your money, but I mean, if you want to get out of a hole, try. Maybe they think they can't get out of it. I don't know, like into a better situation. I don't want to miss anything here, otherwise I have to do a part 3, and I don't really want to do a part 3. I want to get to more travels and do vlogs, but I felt this is an important video to do. So, okay, let's get to the dating aspect. I'll get to the political thing after. Dating aspect. Yes, dating is better here, hands down, than back in the US, Canada, almost anywhere I would say. I don't know about Asia, I haven't been there. I heard it's similar, but here has a more of a mixture of different, you know, beauties and colors and mixtures of women, if that's, I mean, even men if you're a woman watching this video. But I mean, you can get a mixed girl, you can get a black girl, white girl, and they have beautiful all over across the spectrum, okay, which makes it unique here. So dating is better here, okay. Now the problem is, and I'll specifically talk about women because I have experience with this, and I know guys who have done dating here a lot, is not a lot of women have money, unless you start dating somebody from like the rich part of town, which is very hard to get into their circle, friendship circle, whatever you want to call it. Even the dating, they tend to date with their own kind, okay. Now most of the time you're going to date a girl, if it's a good girl, and I'm not talking about working girl, even then you're going to be spending more money. But a normal girl, there are nice girls here, you're going to spend money, you're going to pay for her Ubers, you're going to have to pay for her dinners. And you'll know you have a good girl if she's not like asking you to buy her this, asking you to buy her a fucking cell phone, that's a red flag, okay? If she's asking you to buy all this shit for her, pay for her expenses, get out of Dodge. Even if it's a good-looking, hot girl, she's gonna, you know, milk you dry. So, and that's there's a connotation to that too, another connotation. But anyway, it's just not worth it in the long run, right? And if you're looking for a good relationship, a good girl, those aren't the types you want, okay? And there are beautiful girls who are normal and aren't here to rip off the gringo, okay? Which is another thing you have to be aware of. I think I mentioned in the last video, the gringo prices, and I mean, as soon as they know you're not from here, you got to watch the prices, and that goes without saying. If you haven't watched the first part, I highly recommend watching the first part of the video. So let's talk about the political ramifications, what's going on here. These politicians don't do anything for their people, like most politicians around the world, okay? But here in particular, it's far worse. Maybe other third world countries it's worse, like maybe war-torn countries worse. But here, people seem to think they buy into what the politician is selling. It's amazing. You know, they always fight each other. They choose who they want, and nothing gets done. You know, politicians here lie twice over. The poor people here tend to vote for the left and still do nothing for them. They were promised cheaper meats, beer flowing, you know, all the good shit never came to fruition. In fact, food and meat and beer and all this shit has gone up in price, specifically meat and groceries. Especially since Rio Grande do Sul had the flooding, some food prices went up because rice is produced there. So they have they think that the politician's always going to save them, which they never do. They never do. They go out and vote. They're forced to vote, unless you want to. You have to. If you go, you have to vote, but you can still put like blank. You don't have to choose a candidate. You can leave it blank, but you have to mark it. So people are so distracted here. One could say bread and circus, as the Romans used to say, but very distracted here with soccer, beer, parties, beach, and there's nothing wrong with that stuff, but it's become the main focus in this country now. You know, Brazil keeps getting worse and worse and worse, but people are still thinking that the problems will be solved. The money is being stolen from them from politicians, mismanaged money, misplaced money. Yeah, misplaced. You know where it's going. And one thing I'll add to this, specifically to my Brazilian friends watching, you guys seem to think that we're not allowed to comment on political things because we're not from here. I disagree. I think if you can grasp what's going on in this country, if you have an idea what the hell's going on in this country, if you've been living here and been coming here for so many years, you have the right to an opinion, especially if you know what's going on, okay? If you can understand the language, of course, that makes all the difference. Because you don't want to really depend on the English media, you know, the Brazilian English media here, itchy as hell, for the information. If you can speak Portuguese, you can access more of the media. I've mentioned in the last video that they're big gossipers here, which sucks. People here are very envious, even Brazilians for other Brazilians. It's nothing like I've ever seen before. You know, you don't want to flash around camera, phone, whether you're a foreigner or Brazilian otherwise. I mean, even with your friends, even your friends can be envious of you. There's no supportive, sure, not everybody, I'm not trying to say every single person, but overall, I noticed that the envy is so high here. The jealousy is so high here. And that comes back to the mentality of the people here. A lot of grifters, people willing to fuck you over or fuck over someone else just so they can do good in their life, you know, be well in their life. I guess in Portuguese you say se dar bem. A lot of the sellers will be harassing you. I think I mentioned that in the last video. I'm sorry again if I'm mentioning the same things. Oh, and I wanted to give you guys a little tip. I meant to do that in the last video. If someone comes by and you don't want to buy anything, even if you don't speak Portuguese, all you need to do is the finger wave, the thumbs up, all in synchronization, in the same wave, the same, how do I say it? All at once, basically, and just say no, obrigado. Or you don't even, you can just say obrigado. Just wait, finger wave like no, thumb, no, obrigado, and they'll leave you alone. And it's better to squash it right away. So I thought I would mention that. Not much I can say about politically wise, but I can say the security, and this kind of intertwines with the politics. There's no investment in the security here. Again, they don't care about the people. Rio is getting worse, from my point of view, from my experience. Bad drivers. Yeah, no real good investment, and there's money all over the place in this country. There's no excuse to say there's no money here. So let's talk about a lot of the reasons why Rio is ending up this way. And people are gonna probably take this the wrong way, and I really don't care. But Rio, the city, and starting to happen in places outside of the city, like the state of Rio, is let's be honest, it's turning into one big fucking favela. And I'll tell you exactly why. First of all, people with money here are leaving en masse, okay? They can't handle the violence anymore. If they have a way to leave, they'll go to Portugal, they'll go to wherever they can, okay? They'll keep maybe some investments here and rent it out, Airbnb that shit, or whatever. That's just the reality. The country seems to prefer to invest in like events and shows, and you know, like they have here, they have Carnival in February, March, which I'll get into as well. For New Year's, they spend all kinds of money on that. And the one thing that I'll say as well, which, I mean, this all kind of intertwines, this last New Year's, 2020 going into 2025 in Copacabana, a father and his daughter, I mean, were shot. I mean, they didn't die, but the daughter took a bullet in the arm. I don't know if the father got shot, and he was incensed. And that's never happened. I've never seen that happen in Copacabana. I've seen, you know, knifings and all kinds of crime of that sort, which, again, lack of security, too many favelas around the area. So that's gonna happen. Back to Rio turning into favela. Yes, because most of the people living in these favelas are broke and poor, and sadly we're all a product of our environment. So in a way it's kind of not their fault, but I mean, again, it's a perpetual, non-ending cycle, vicious cycle. Who has the most kids? A lot of the poor people in the favelas and in the other neighborhoods that are a little bit better than the favela, not on the hill, and they have kids because they get the you know, the welfare, the Bolsa Familia. I understand on one side, but damn, like, teach your kids manners and keep them away from these gangs and shit. I don't know what else you can say about that. Most of the kids that are doing these little petty crimes, even to get into these factions, you know, the criminal factions, are young people, and unfortunately the black community. If you see in Copacabana when a bunch of kids are together, that's just what it is. It is what it is. It's not racist to say that. This is just the reality. I find actually a lot of the regular people here somewhat, you know, regular, quite friendly. But the favela is the place where a lot of this stuff is perpetuating, and it's never ending, and it's just growing in population. And if you don't add security to that, or instill some sort of surveillance, shit's gonna get bad. It's even going into smaller regions of this in the state of Rio. I saw like a shootout happen in like a northern town in Rio, the state of Rio, like small little towns. I saw I think it was a Brazilian from Sao Paulo. She was driving, or she was taking Uber. I think it was Uber. And she got shot up, went in the wrong spot. You know, they didn't even ask questions. They just shot him up. Life over. Beautiful young girl, visiting Rio, I guess, for the first time. I'm not sure. This is the shit I'm talking about. Even Baja, where I'm at right now, a few years ago, attempted mugging on my girl. I chased the guy, and I knew that it was a safe situation because he was just some punk teenager. Again, not everybody is bad in the favela. Of course not. I've been to the favela. Nice people. They're stuck in a shitty situation. But a lot of them, I would say most of them, have bad intentions. Because they'll do anything to be well in life, you know? It's that desperation, the survival mode, and not giving excuses, but this is the fact. This is the way it is. This is the way it is. And Rio is getting worse. This is why I made a plan to get out of here. It's perfect for short stays. If you're not going to be here more than 2-3 months, there's cool things to do here. I'm not discouraging that. I'm not denying that. But people have really bad etiquette and manners here, and you're going to find that it's just not for everybody. I mean, now I just don't even give a shit. I do what they do now on the buses, and I'll stand up and wait in line to get off first. I mean, I won't do that if it's a senior citizen. I let them go first, and I hold up the line on purpose. Fuck you all. I think someone else told me they did that as well, just to piss them off. It's crazy, man. It's Gotham City. I don't know what's going on here, man. To me, 10-20 years from now, unless something changes, which I doubt it, shit's gonna get really bad here, man. Really bad, really fast. And I'm only touching on some shit that happens here. Let's see if I have any other topic here. I wrote down a lot of stuff just yeah, man. Oh, and what they call this lack of manners here, when Brazilians do this kind of shit, it's called brasilagem or chinelagem. I don't know if you guys have heard that term before, but that's annoying stuff that people do here. People who'll do, I'll give you one example, to save their spot, like at a pool, they'll leave their towel there and go and do whatever, expecting that that's my spot, I don't care, you know. So once I think someone mentioned that they were into a show and they had tables set up, and they had numbered tables. Somebody like went and rubbed out the number and added their own number, so that whoever came to look for the correct number for their table, they wouldn't get it. They kept someone else's table. It's nonsensical people who don't have any consideration for others, and it gets to you. But I mean, at this point, I'm used to it. I've been here so long. I haven't changed to become like that, because I wasn't raised that way. I don't think I have anything to add in this video. If I do, I'll have to do a third video in the future sometime. But I mean, unless people wake up from this constant cycle of only wanting to party and things like that, and start protesting what's going on in this government, the government gets away with so much shit. Police get away with so much shit. Not all police are bad here, but they get paid really low. They've had their pay late, received their pay late. Imagine that. You're putting your life on the line, and it's super dangerous here, and the government's like fucking around with your money. I've also heard where police have like blackmailed people for money, specifically gringos, so you got to be careful. I went through a checkpoint once, and he was pretty cool, you know. He's like, "Oh, where are you from?" "Canada." "Oh, where in Canada?" "Toronto, Montreal." So he knew a little bit. I thought he might like try to extort me for something, but this is close to Rocinha or Vidigal, I can't remember. I think it was Vidigal, the entrance way. I was coming back to Leblon. Anyways, that's all I have to say in this video. I don't know whether going to another city in Brazil is going to change I mean, I've been to places and the people tend to be a little bit more educated and have manners and things like that. But Rio is not, man. It's not for beginners, you know. It's not for even, I don't even think it's for raising a family. I would not raise a family in this country, in this city. Maybe another city in Brazil, I don't know, but not even Sao Paulo, but like the city of Sao Paulo. But here, forget it, man. Forget it. I don't know. What else can I say? I guess that's it for the video. I'm glad I got this one out. I'm just looking at my list here to make sure. Probably missed one or two things, but you guys can tell me some things that you've experienced here. More importantly, what do you think could change this? What do you think could improve this city? How do you think we could fix these problems? Or at least Brazilians, Cariocas, fix these problems? I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. I don't know what the answer is. There's a lot of other problems that I haven't mentioned here. You should check out my first video. I mentioned some things there. But that's it for this video. I said pretty much all I have to. I'm hoping my next video will be a vlog exploring more of Brazil or maybe another country in South America. I don't know yet. We'll see what happens. Anyways, thank you for watching. If you got all the way to the end here, leave a comment, hit the like, and yeah, thanks for watching. Bye for now.